Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today, finally, Jack Flash. But we're going to kick off first with a song, and this is the reveal song, Don't Go Breaking My Heart. Let's do it, shall we? Jack Flash and Laurie's Mishmosh. Don't go breaking my heart. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name's Jade. This is How to App on iOS. I hope you're all doing really good, huh? It's finally time. Yeah, finally time. The big reveal, it is happening today. So what happens on this show every day? I talk about apps, stuff, things, mental health and well-being, and we do interviews with amazing artists. And that is happening today. But first, it would be silly of me to not thank our amazing sponsor of this show, who is DistroKid. And DistroKid are absolutely amazing. If I can bring up the right screen, there we are, right there. DistroKid have sponsored this show now once a month for, what are we, fourth month, I think, and are going right through to the whole year. And we love DistroKid. If you want to release your music online through places like Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all of the great places where you can download, stream, purchase music from, this is the place to do it. You do it through DistroKid. They have 3 plans here, $19.99 a year for unlimited albums and singles. $35.99 a year gives you 2 artist names that you can do with unlimited releases, or you can go for the big one, which is the one I use, the $79.99 a year, which is a label account where you can have up to 5 artists and be your own label. If you sign up using my link, which is pinned to the top of the comments, or down in the description, you get 7% off your first year. We love DistroKid. They make it really easy to release music, and a little bit further into the show, we'll show you exactly how you can do it. Super easy when we have our ad read. I love doing ad reads. They rock. They're so AM radio. You know what I mean? I love it. Alrighty, guys. So finally. Now, you may know this artist from around the community, around the YouTube community, maybe Metal Head Hippie or Rock and Ronnie Ward's show. He's an amazing vocalist, and he's like an international man of mystery, because for the longest time, we haven't really known what he looks like, who exactly he is. He's always either a cartoon or some kind of animated character, but his voice is incredible, and the music that he makes is absolutely sick. So I'm super, super excited to have him on the show. And let's do it, shall we? I'm going to hit the unmute button and bring on the amazing, incredibly talented, and finally on camera, after all this time, Jack Flash.
Are we hacked in?
Huh?
Are we hacked in yet?
What?
How long is it going to take Jade to get a shit together and get the stream back?
What's going on?
Okay. I'm really sorry. I know you were all expecting to see Jack. Many apologies. But I'm afraid I've got to intervene because there are a few things, ground rules, really, that we need to get established. Fortunately, since Jack has blown his cover recently by coming in from the cold and revealing himself on video for the first time, it's been decided at the very highest levels to allow you to know some of the background to Jack's extraordinary story. I first encountered him when I was working as a controller at MI6 in a joint Anglo-American super soldier project. That's how I became Jack's handler. And he came to the VA where we were clandestinely recruiting for treatment. And let me stress here that he was completely unaware of the work that we were doing at the time. And he was an unwitting participant in those early trials. Obviously, this is a highly classified matter. But more importantly, there are a few trigger words, a couple of phrases, and it's imperative that you avoid those. But I've got to give you some context first. Jack could hardly speak when I first met him. His adenoidal issues, which had plagued him all through his early life, quite frankly, meant that he had a voice only a mother could love. He sounded like a bullfrog being slowly suffocated whilst tap dancing. And he'd come to the VA for treatment to this. It's therefore absolutely imperative that you avoid any reference to either bullfrogs or tap dancing. And under no account should you ever use the phrase, would you like to supersize that order, in Jack's presence, because the results could be calamitous, to say the very least. I can reveal that Jack did not respond as intended to the plethora of super soldier serums, nor the endless, some might say, insanely psychopathic physical regimes that he was forced to endure. He didn't develop super strength, he didn't develop speed or invisibility, and he never became laser-eyed or talon-fingered. But his voice did prove to become an incredibly powerful force indeed. And this was accompanied by a rather impressive and almost supernatural increase in his personal charisma. During field tests at the fabled S4 complex in Nevada's proving grounds, his vocal performance was able to shatter glass over phenomenal distances, and he could create intense mental and emotional distraction and even involuntary rhythmic movement disorders in test subjects who were over 10 miles away. It must also be noted that a rather unexpected side effect of his singing was that every female anywhere near him has a 96.4% chance of going completely gaga, throwing a knickers at random strangers, screaming hysterically and fainting, and it often takes them months to recover, which is why Jack can only be booked to perform on camera, never in public, and preferably only as a cartoon character. So apologies again for hijacking the scream. But remember, don't mention bullfrogs.
Okay.
We're off now.
Yeah. Bye. So I don't know if Jack's going to be here or not. Hang on a minute. Is that Jack Flash?
I was back in the green room. I don't know what happened, and my controls didn't work.
Oh my God! It's you. I can actually see you. Welcome to the show. I won't mention any of those things, I promise. And I want to thank C3PO for a fantastic performance.
What are you talking about?
I won't mention any of those things.
What thing? Okay, whatever. Hi.
Hi. Anyway, uncomfortable, but we're here at the end. Man, I'm so stoked to have you on the show, man. It's been a while in the making, and thank you for taking the time out to come on the show and spend with me today, and for doing an interview with me only, it seems. So that's really kind of you.
It's an honor, Jade. I'm flattered anyone would care to know more about me at all. I find that amazing, but especially to do it on your show. It's something that I've wanted to do, and it would be the exclusive for whatever that means.
Well, yeah, we've been talking about it for a little while, and we had your reveal, which we opened with that clip there with Laurie's Mishmash, and we were waiting for that to really happen, weren't we? So tell us a little bit about the process of that whole song you did with Laurie, and the whole reveal, and was it nerve-wracking?
Well, there's a lot of things. There's a modesty. I didn't want to reveal. Ian's always saying that there would be a big problem if I did a reveal, and so whatever, I just did whatever he said. He's always been kind of bossy that way, but with Laurie it was always a lot of fun, and the deal was just so that everybody understands, was that I was always encouraging her to sing, and she did a little bit, and I said, look, if you do that, I will come out in your video with my real face, such as it is. So sorry if that's underwhelming to everybody. It was kind of fun to be anonymous, but it was a pleasure to do anything with Laurie. She makes everything very fun. Her video editing skills are beyond. I don't know what everybody's saying about wigs. What wig? I don't know what you're talking about, but in her performance. But here on this one particular, you guys have to, give it up for her singing. Laurie came out in the front and sang like that. I humbly got to coach a little bit and point in the right direction, and just loved how it came out, and glad to do it.
Yeah, look, it was fantastic. I really didn't expect that. It was interesting when I remember watching that going, oh, I'm ready for the reveal. And I hate to say this, Jack, but your reveal was overshadowed by Laurie singing. For me personally, I was like, listen to her sing, man. What the hell? This is awesome. Because she's always I can't sing, and all this.
That's part of why I did it that way. You know, it could be a little even more under the radar. I can come in there, but who's going to watch me? I got Lori in 2 different characters, playing, singing, belting it out. So what an honor.
Yeah, it was very, very clever. So, all right, let's get down to business, shall we? I'm going to hit you with the first questions I hit everybody with. Jack Flash, what does music mean to you?
Boom. Well, I'm glad you asked that, Jade. I couldn't have imagined you might be asking that question.
What a surprise.
Much thought, but off the top of my head, honestly, I will tell you that you're asking to put into words. You put into words something that by definition is beyond words. I mean, you use words, you use lyrics, you hope that people will listen to them. But when you communicate or are communicated with in music, it's such a direct connection. It's such a direct thing. Anytime, I mean, all you have to do, any of you, is think of that time when music lifted you, you felt a spirit, it energized you, you got excited, you got into that moment, you were more aware. Anybody that knows that it's a direct connection to do with music, and particular vibration, and I'll even say even more particular, the human voice. You know, I guess I'm biased, but if I had to approximate, I'd say that music means connection, connecting to people.
It's interesting, music, isn't it? I mean, it's such a complex thing, but you know, and when you're making it as a musician, it comes naturally for some people, and other people it takes a lot of hard work, but it means so many different things to people. It's such a broad thing compared to just basic language. Has there been a time in your life, I knew this was going to be like SNL today.
What?
You're like a kid in a candy store, finally exposed. Has there been a time where music has got you through a really hard point in your life?
Well, only for a really brief time in my life, since probably, 2 months after conception to about 5 minutes ago, it's done that. I mean, come on. I mean, music is such an energizing force, and particularly for me, I couldn't imagine not surrounding myself with it. It's so much a part of who I am at the deepest level that, I mean, of course, it's been my companion in the good times and in the hard times. It's been there for me in every kind of way. It's been a more faithful friend than, dare I say, any human, although I love my human friends. Hello, humans. You know who you are. You're my friend.
And I always say if you could have sex with music, it would be the perfect partner. But unfortunately, it's not the case.
You can't? Oh, okay.
Well, hey, if you have some secrets...
No.
Please tell. Do you recall the music that was being played in your household growing up? And give us some examples. And has that music influenced you?
Well, again, these are great, almost rhetorical questions like, does music that you heard at a young age influence you? No, I'm completely impervious to all things. I only like punk rock from 1981 to 1981 in June when Black Flag. No. It was always classical in my home at the earliest age, from my earliest memories. And it was played very loud in a hi-fi system. And I recall my mother really liked all of the piano. My father really liked all of the piano music, the piano classical pieces and the very powerful ones. But my mom liked the violin pieces and thought that they were more emotional. And yeah, I mean, of course, it had an effect on me, like where it comes out or how it would show. I couldn't imagine or speculate, but I'm sure it has. I don't listen to classical that much now, but it's in the bones.
See, I like to think of that question as like the more polite way of asking how old you are. Because normally when people rattle off the music of that time, that gives people an idea without throwing the age out there. You know, I find that to be a more polite way to, which I don't really care how old people are. So, it's all good.
No, you'll get me on the next one, which is what about records, right? Or about first what was it?
You know this show.
I don't want to do it. Let me do Jack Flash. Can you do me a favor? Can you tell me? Whoa, boom! You know, can you tell me what was the first music album or whatever format that you either were given?
That's the one.
Or bought with your own money.
That is it. Given or. And
now you have to answer for me.
Oh, I've answered this a million times. It was Kiss. Kiss was the first album. It was Unmasked by Kiss, and I can't remember what the first album was that I bought. It was I think it was a Duran Duran album, I do believe.
Lovely.
I think
mine was, and I had to pay for it myself, and I remember it was $5 and for 2 records, and they were albums, they were vinyl, and one was Elton John's Greatest Hits, and one was John Denver's Greatest Hits.
Nice.
And so that'll give you that should date you pretty well. I think that year Elton John had the hit with covering a Beatles song, which to this day I think is just other than like Joe Cocker and him doing that, it was his version of Lucy in the Sky.
That's a great version.
Right then. So
that's a great version. It was on album. It was on vinyl, I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
Do you
and I still have a great deal of vinyl. You can probably see a little cross section over there, but I maintain all the formats to this day, and I literally will take out and play albums. I enjoy the process of listening to a whole group of songs and taking out the physical album and looking at the artwork and the liner notes. It's a lost beauty to immerse yourself in an artist in a more complete way, especially when they were intending to have it be a band or a collection of songs.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I had a massive record collection when I was young, and unfortunately over the years of playing in bands and have been broke and having to move all the time and having to sell things to keep the bands going, that vinyl disappeared. Do you think there's a revival lately of vinyl? Do you think that is going? Can you see vinyl coming back to the point that it takes over?
No, people in general care less about music than they ever have. It's something that's so fleeting, something that's quickly on. Maybe you're listening to out of your phone, or you're competing with background noise. I believe that there will always be the faithful. I believe there will always be the people who care and want to express themselves and immerse themselves in music, and they'll always find those mediums. And, I didn't care what it was that kept the stuff alive, whether it was DJing or stuff that I wasn't into, but if they kept the vinyl alive, and there'll always be ability to get a record player. Too many people have it to let that format go.
It is interesting because of recent times I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and people suggesting that music is dead. And it's so interesting to me because I'm surrounded by music. I do a show about music every day. I'm in this community of people who make music, and it doesn't feel like it to me. So, and I guess I don't know any young people who I guess that's where this idea is coming from, that music is dead because of attention spans.
Well, I would think to speculate about, why it's less or why people aren't as into it is really meaningless for somebody who has their lives entwined with music, as do most of the people in our community and most of the people that care. I mean, you care about it or you don't. And if it's generational, that's fine. But I've met some young people who are very into it. So, you know, I think they'll always be faithful. And, you know, I don't need to speculate as to why other people wouldn't want to go there. I mean, it's a shame. I mean, maybe in some tiny way we can contribute and all of us can put out our music and maybe someone would get turned on and maybe listen to something more, or even better, pick up an instrument and become creative, or, you know, there's lots to be spawned, but who knows about the masses? What do they know?
Absolutely. And yeah, I've had a few people say I'm getting a bit of feedback from your speakers, I think.
All right, let's switch over. Why don't you go full to you and talk while I switch this over?
La, la, la,
Jack
la,
said in his director voice.
La, 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 la,
All
la.
right, thank you very much.
Well, if I talk, let's see if it's still popping back from your speakers. Because are you going to flick over to headphones? Maybe you are.
It won't now because I am switching, which I should have had from the beginning.
These are my new headphones, by the way. I love these headphones. They're fantastic. I've only had them for a week and a bit, and they rock. Let me bring you back in. I think we've killed it.
There we go.
Yes.
Beauty.
We have
Sorry
killed
about
it.
that.
No, great job. All right. Let's talk about, you know what? Let's play a song, because we've got a bunch of songs, and we'll come back and talk about some other stuff. And then we'll come back and say hello to everybody here. Thank you all for being here. I want to say that. You guys make the show. You're here, you know, week in and week out. So thank you, as always, for your support. We'll play a track, and then we'll come back and we'll say hello to you all, do the usual hellos. What are we going to do? I'm just going to pick at random because I love to do that. All right. Let's do A Little Bit of Love. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this song? Because it's a little bit about love. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
I can only tell you a little bit about it.
Promise?
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's a hackneyed and trite kind of thing, but just that even a little bit of love can change a situation if people are open to it. And just tried to have that come out in a tune.
Perfect. Let's do it. Guys, kick back, relax. This is A Little Bit of Love. Oh, yeah.
From your heart, spoken softly, turns away the dawn, keeps it all from tearing you apart. Little bit of love, oh now my little bit of love.
A Little Bit of Love. Man, what a killer song. Killer song. Man, your vocals are absolutely flipping amazing.
Thank you. Means more coming from you. Back at you.
Thank you so much, man. I mean, you really have a fantastic range of vocal. Did you always want to be a vocalist? Was it something that was stirring in your loins from an early age?
Stirring. Well, when you put it that way. As early as I can remember, and much to the displeasure of my mother, who wanted proper piano lessons, which interested me to a point, but I didn't have the discipline for it, and it was always singing. Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. And from the earliest time, it was my voice. Not that it was ever in the home beyond playing classical music. There might have been some opera, but that was all me. No one could sing.
So, did you at school? Were there lessons at school? Were you a forced recorder learner at school? I love that question. I try and ask everybody.
No,
No?
and maybe you have more arts in Australia, because Mark Tanner was also telling me about an amazing support for the younger people and some of the technical training, and I was blown away at how much exposure. Certainly there were some early drama classes, and when they would have a song as a part of something, and I'd open my mouth like everybody, would remark. I don't want to, I have to be a bit defacing about it. Maybe they were remarking because I was out of tune, but it was always something that was enjoyable for me.
So, when was the first time you actually partook in a performance thing, or with like a theater or with a band? How did that come about? Like actually performing with other people?
Well, and now we finally hit the nerve. Playing in a band is a really big deal to me. Playing with other musicians and the interaction with other musicians, and ultimately I learned later the interaction with people when you're performing, and the energy to that too. But it was the standard kind of thing. Couple kids, in my class in school, and the very earliest one was with a dear friend of mine named Rob, who I had the fortune of coming back together with, and have a song that I think we're going to play in this show called Far Away. I like to name each project as if it was a band, because again, I love, to be in a band so much. So we called ourselves the Unusual Suspects, and we wrote the song Far Away, which is fun because that's literally then a span of many decades from the time we first were playing in my basement to putting that song out.
I do love this question. What was the first band name that you came up with? Do you recall it? Are you willing to expose it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was 14? It was Warrior, and Warrior became Stone Haggard.
Oh wow, wow!
And Stone Haggard became Fission.
Fission.
Fission. Now we're getting into Dog Paw time.
Yeah, right. So how did that come about? How did you meet the Dog Paw? Because there's a history. There's a really long history here, isn't there?
He is history. No. There's a great story. There's a great story of me meeting him on the beach here in California, and he's older than me, which always gives me a great deal of comfort. And we're walking on the beach, and he was talking to another guy, and the other guy was complimenting him, saying, "You're just the best guitar player." And it's true. He was and is. And he responded, and as I'm walking up, saying, "Yeah, I got the drum kit of the best drummer in the city in my living room, and we're gonna play." And blah, blah. And I walked up and said, "Hi, I'm Jack, and I'm your new vocalist." he turned to me and said, you know, I don't know if this is for you. The name of my band is Donnie Holmes and the, oh boy, is the Fathers of Destruction. Is the Fathers of Destruction. And I recognized the Frank Zappa and said, Frank Zappa would be pissed if he knew about the Fathers of Destruction. And he said, you're hired if you can sing. And I apologize so deeply. Please don't write me out of your life. Thank you.
So
To the Dog Paw, who will only be known as such.
So you guys started writing music together. So you guys started writing music together, and then you obviously started playing gigs. How did this? I want to know the dirt on you guys together, because I can see a lot of rock and roll stories going on here. Or am I wrong?
It wasn't so much gigging as working up original material, and to the degree we were playing that for our friends and people that we knew, it never in that incarnation ever got out into gigging. It never made it to that, but we worked out a tremendous amount of material. It was very good.
Awesome. I'm going to say hello to people who are here in the chat today, because there's over 30 of you here. So thank you all for being here today. I'm going to give you all a call out. So if you want me to call your name, you know what? Now is the best time to write something so I don't have to do scrolling, because scrolling's tough. Let's do it. Gary Hubbs. How's going on? Laurie's Mishmosh. Lou Reality is here. Midnight Bandit Music, and we'll talk about that Midnight Bandit Music. The Falcrow, PJ Kobe. Who else? SM Borthwick. Hetriani, yeah. Texas.
Yeah.
Jack Dorr is here as well. Joe and Barry Glenn. Feisty Feather. Metal Head Hippie.
Boom.
Boom.
Marky Effects. Ian Luckett. Never seen you before. Kim Harden Hudson, Thomas Christ, Tremor Bear, JDL, Russ 8889, Adam Burse. Man, there is a lot of you here. Thank you all for being here. If I've missed you, just Boomer Bass Meme. Boo. Have I got Manny from the Lily Pillies is here as well. I'm sure I've missed some people. Barry Glenn is here too. I always have trouble saying this name. Kuzaika. Did I get it right? Kuzorika? I think so. I'm an Aussie. You just have to deal with my shitty language. I think I've got most of you. If I've missed you, just slap me around the head virtually. I like it. All right. So you start playing with people. You're hanging out with the doc. You're writing music. Did you start gigging? Did you start playing around and dealing with all that rock and roll stuff?
Now you have to back it up a little bit, because there was great frustration because I was never in a position where I could buy a PA system. And as anyone will tell you, a singer that doesn't have a PA system, you're going unarmed. And I could never hear myself. So one of the things about playing with the Dog Paw in the beginning was we had a system worked out where for the very first time I could hear myself and other people could hear me. And it was like, wow, it's actually something I can do. And, maybe it made me belt it out more when no one could hear me. But the beginning of my career was all,
yeah.
And that's all you heard, because I was playing through a guitar amp. It was god awful. But it wasn't until a little bit later, when I moved to the San Diego area, that I started to gig out. Then we played clubs and restaurants, bars, and it's a very nice scene down there. And that's where I really paid most of my dues and did most of the rock and roll things, as he said.
Hello to Lady Rodaline, who I missed as well. See, it's a little bit different here. Like, now I've spent time in America, so I was saying this when Leela was on last week. I found it really fascinating when I lived in America, how a lot of bands had their own jam rooms, like rental spaces where they could go and jam it, and they just left all their gear here. Where in Australia, you don't really leave your stuff at a rehearsal space. You just each week have to lug all your gear into the place, sing through the crappy PA where you can't hear yourself singing. I totally feel your pain of being the vocalist going, can anyone hear me at rehearsal? Am I just screaming for no effing reason? But here with gigs too, when you play gigs, nearly every venue here in Australia has a decent PA. So is that the case that then you had to bring your own backline, your own PA?
Well, I mean, it was all over the board. It was all of the above. I mean, there's certainly places, and once you got to a certain level, of course, they had their own stuff, and they had sound people, and you learned the etiquette of dealing with them and getting the best out of a situation. And once you got to that level, it was very fun to be a vocalist. You got to travel very light. I bring my microphone, and if I had a preamp or something, and tip the sound guy and do a quick sound check and make sure I could hear myself, and that's it.
Are you a vocalist that once the gig's over, lets the drummer carry his own gear out?
Drummers have gear?
That answers that.
The guy behind me with the sticks?
Yeah, the one who secretly gets all the tail.
Yeah.
Did I just call it tail? Did I just use the word tail? What the hell is going on?
Hey, Tiger. All right. Get some tail and chase some skirt, and the dames will be ready.
I don't know where that came from. Let's just roll with it.
See, that's how we like them. Yeah, that's right.
Pay off the mafia. Yeah, that's right. Do you know, I watched a really interesting documentary. This is something I'd like to get your take on about the music industry. I watched it last week on YouTube, saying that the whole music industry, since its inception, pretty much, has been controlled by the mafia. And I found it really interesting that they were talking about in this documentary about the death clause, where every artist back in the day had a death clause, and when artists weren't performing, this conspiracy is that the mafia would go out and bop off artists to try and cash in on them because they were losing the industry money. Do you think there's any weight to that?
There's a lot of weight. It's soaking wet. It's hysterical. I mean, but on the other hand, I mean, could you imagine there possibly being any kind of corruption at all in the entertainment business? Do you think two people could have possibly made an agreement to take advantage of someone and do something criminal? Because if two people agree to do something criminal, that's called a conspiracy.
Wonderful. It was interesting though. I was glued to it. I was absolutely glued to it. And they mentioned Chris Cornell and all this stuff. Then it got a bit ludicrous, and I was like, yeah, I don't think so. But there is a lot of corruption in everything, in everything we deal with every day. So the music industry is definitely no stranger to corruption. Have when you started gigging, do you recall a gig that you played where you got absolutely ripped off totally by a venue? Don't have to name names, where they left you absolutely high and dry. You put heaps of energy into a show and you just walked away with absolutely nothing.
Like I said, my experiences kind of run the whole gamut. So I've had that situation. I've had very negative situations, and I've had surprisingly great situations. And a lot of business come from things and in unexpected ways. And when one thing was taken with in one way, things were granted in another.
Yeah. I want to ask about being a vocalist, because I think people misconstrued the vocalist as being, you don't need to carry gear or anything like that. But being a vocalist is you are the instrument. It's a little bit different than being a guitarist, where you're carrying an instrument and putting energy into that instrument. But as a vocalist, you are a living being, that a vessel for music. Do you find it like hard to maintain your health and how does health affected your vocals as a very strong vocalist? I'm just curious because if I get sick, my vocals are screwed for months. It's a yeah.
Well, it's the nature of the beast. Being a vocalist as opposed to any other member of the band is more susceptible with health issues. There's even a level of sick where you're not sick, but it's enough that you can't sing your entire range. Of course. But what I would say is that the vocalist is not the only one who their bodies and their physicality embodies the music. And it took me a long time to realize that, but you'll notice it in people. I notice it in you, is that you could be in a room and there can be this thing in the corner and it's the Stratocaster thing or this thing, but the music is not in the instrument. The music is not there. The music is in the person. I mean, really. And sometimes when a person is in the room, when a person's talking, when a person's doing something, I can connect with their music, especially if I've heard it before. I've heard some of your music. And then when you're just conversing or interviewing someone, I can feel that too. So I did want to say that because I think it's very cool.
Well, thank you. And it's one of the reasons I wanted to get to know you too, because, you have such an incredibly powerful range. And, to maintain that range as we get older as a vocalist, it gets tougher. Is there any particular things you do to, how much do you practice vocals? How much time do you put into maintaining the strength of your vocal to be able to have such a huge octave range?
Oh, thank you. It's just because I love it so much. I sing every day. Whether I'm doing actual exercises, scales or this or that, that's more sporadic. But voice is a muscle, and if you sing every day, your voice gets very strong. You just have to have a situation. It's a unique thing for singers, and I'm sure people understand that out there that sing. You have to be able to belt it out. And that brings in a whole host of issues of your environment, your timing, your situation. Not everybody's blessed with a soundproof situation. And so sometimes you're literally band on the run and it's time to sing now. And but I sing all the time.
I'm glad to hear that because, yeah, I do too. I sing every waking moment I can. If it's in the shower, if it's out in public, I don't really care. I like embarrassing myself because, it's a joy. It really is a joy to sing, except when you can't. Like, do you, when I've lost my voice, I feel absolutely lost. I crawl into a hole and feel like something's been taken from me. Like I've had a relationship bust up. I have a stronger reaction to not having a voice than the times I've broke up with 5-year relationships. Do you suffer from that? Like, do you feel like a piece is missing from you when you're unable to sing?
Clearly it's a really big deal, but I'd go to say that even in those situations, you do have a voice, Jade. You do something that's so amazing, and I'm going to take a second to say it, which is that you go out there and say something that's so wild, that's so controversial, that so blows people away and they can't handle it. And it's not what you think. It's you stand and say the proposition that people should do what makes them happy. And I think that is such an incredibly powerful thing. So if I was ever down that I couldn't sing because I had a flu or something, I could take strength in something like that. So on behalf of everybody here in the community, we want to say thank you for that. You add so much excitement and so much enjoyment, so much entertainment, just so much information, the breadth and breadth of your catalog. I know this is the Jack Flash Hour, but I would be remiss to not point this out and to ask people, if I have any street cred out there to you people, I would like you to do something to support this. If it's $1, if it's $5, do something. And please go into any one of my songs and put in the chat that you did some kind of support for Jade, even if it's symbolic, even if it's saying something in the chat. I think it's important to give back because this is somebody who's always giving back.
Oh man, thanks. Thank you. That's so kind of you. I don't even know what to say, but man, sometimes we get to a point in our lives where, for me as a musician, I feel like I've done so much as a musician. There's nothing left to do, and now this is my path. It's about you guys. It's about other people now, and if
Beautiful,
and I think that's. I don't know. Let's talk about life for a second. We're always seeking answers as a human being. We're desperate to find answers, and I think, me personally, the answer I found in maturity was just inner peace, and to share all the ups and downs and crazy things that I've experienced, and hope to see other people rise. It's really important. What are some with music, and what are some lessons you may have learned? Because I want to talk about your life and what you do, all these things. I'm taken aback by your kind words, so I'm a bit lost. You made me get lost for words. What the hell?
If I could make you speechless, my interview was a success. No one has ever done that before, folks.
No one ever has. I'm supposed to be the queen of interviews.
It is a rise and we all rise together, and that is the message. The message is connection. I said that music is connection. That's the closest I can get, and it's connecting with all these people. And we were talking about it, some members of the community and I, the guys in the band, which I'd like to talk about some of the new stuff that we're going to be doing later, that doing it over the internet and doing it in a community the way that we have is such a peculiar, interesting, and wonderful thing, because all of a sudden you're dipping in a pool that is much larger. You're dealing with people you're not limited by the geography, and all of a sudden the world starts to become smaller, and we take over one continent at a time, and friends in this time zone and that time zone. And tell me, that's connection. And you get together with these people, and each one is collaborating with the next, and trying this variation and that variation. And it's a celebration of life, and it's a beautiful thing. There's the drawbacks. Certainly everybody who's played in a live band, everybody that's done that knows that it's not the same when you're not in the room, and the technology is not quite there without the latency. But you can do a lot, and connecting with all the people, that's what it's about.
Yeah, it really is. And amazingly, we got forced to really have to do this with all the stuff that went down in the world. And, we had to change our thinking process, how to make music differently, how to connect with each other differently through something that was inevitably going to happen to this world at some stage. And I'm going to take a break on this, and we'll come back. We'll talk some more serious stuff about this. I want to play another track, and I want to play The Unusual Suspects. Do you want to tell us anything about this before I throw this down?
Yeah, I just did mention that this was someone I had one of my very first musical experiences with, and decades later to come back and put together a song. If it's a little bit 80s, it's because he was literally toting this song around since that time, and I just wrote the song to it this last year, so it has kind of a blend of ages and styles, but I hope you guys like it. Far Away.
Awesome, let's do it. This is the opposite to what Ron says, The Usual Suspects. This is The Unusual Suspects. Jack Flash, this is Far Away. That's the name of the track, yeah? Far Away.
Yeah, I don't believe in Far Away.
Let's do it, guys. We'll see you back here shortly. Boom. Boom. Welcome back. So that was the usual unusual suspects, Far Away, and it's time now. We'll be back to the interview in just a second because I want to let you all know about our today's sponsor of this show and this channel in particular, which is DistroKid. We love you, DistroKid. DistroKid allows you to release your music on all the major platforms. And you know what? It's super easy to do. We've already talked about the price plans that you can get through DistroKid to have unlimited music released every year for one set price. But it's super easy to actually do. And there's been a few new features that have been added to DistroKid's uploading section. So I'm going to click and show you this. This is the screen you get when you are uploading to DistroKid. Basically, you get to choose all of these amazing places to send your music to. Super easy. You just tick the boxes. You decide if you want to actually upload a single or how many tracks. Look how many tracks you can actually, up to 35 tracks per album. You can choose your artist name, and they have just added a brand new feature in here. Are you already a YouTube artist? So you can actually connect this to your YouTube channel. You can create your YouTube artist page here as well. You can select the release date of your album. So you can set it in advance if you would like to, and then prepare everybody for it. You can set pre-orders depending on the tier that you sign up for. Even depending on the tier you sign up for, so it's the second tier, you can choose your own record label. It's pretty simple. You can upload your image, and then you just go in and select your genre. Super simple stuff here. It's very child's play. Create your song title, and then you get options like add a featured artist, so you can actually add in somebody else who's performed on this track. You can decide if it's a radio edit. Then it's super easy to add your file. You just click choose file, choose your WAV file, put it in there. You're mastered. Make sure it's mastered, folks, because it's going to all these platforms. You can put in your name, songwriter, so you get paid. You can actually split payments between other artists who are on DistroKid as well. Decide if it's an instrumental, and if you are on your middle tier of your plan, you can actually decide how much you want to charge people for your track. And that's pretty much it. Once you've filled in all these details, you scroll down to the bottom, select all this and say, yes, I agree. I sign my life away to DistroKid. Hit done, and your music is available. It is as simple as that. It takes a few days, up to a week to 2 weeks, depending on the how many things are being updated, and then your album is available on all of these streaming platforms. It is super simple to do. Child's play, you know. And again, if you click the link that is pinned to the top of the comments here or in the description, you get 7% off your first year on either of the 3 tiers. Yeah, just for that first year. So definitely it helps out me, helps out the channel if you use my link, and it'll help you save a little bit of money. So I just once again want to thank DistroKid for all that you guys do. You really are the best. Love you lots. Welcome back, Jack.
Well, thank you.
I wanted to bring up this because the title of today's show, there it is there, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Shits a Gas. Now, I told you about this story. I don't know if you know this. I was told this story when I was young. When I was in high school. My music teacher told me that when the Rolling Stones released the song Jumping Jack Flash, it was taken off the radio for a period of time because of the end, how it says, Jumpin' Jack Flash, it's a gas. And the radio stations thought they were saying that marijuana was cool. So, shit's a gas. Because the word Jumping Jack Flash ends on S, and then shit's a gas. And yeah, there was this huge controversy.
Love it.
It just shows what a different time period we were in, where radio stations took that as being offensive, and these days music videos have close-ups of people's asses being licked and stuff. We really have changed.
Well,
it's a different world. Totally. So I want to ask about, so you're playing music, and then I bring this up with everybody I have on the show. It seems like there's a lot of artists out there who are doing music for a period of time and then life got in the way. Is this something that happened for you, that you moved on to do something else and still had music current? What is this a similar story for you?
Well, I wouldn't say life got in the way. I mean, life is something that's going on while you're, thinking about it, busy making other plans. Life goes on. There was certainly a time when I was not thrilled with the rock and roll life, the playing out there. I didn't want to live, on the fringe of it, and I wanted to do other things. I make no bones about it. I'm a family man. I think there's a lot of people in the same kind of situation. Those values are very important. I talk with our own Andy Dion. We didn't coin the phrase, but we're very big on dad rock, because dads rock. And I'd like to speak to the idea of having, intervals in that time. And of course you had music going. I had music going on the entire time. But as soon as I ever had a chance, regardless of what path I was taking, to whatever degree my situation would allow, I would be doing that, because that's who I am. I'm writing, I'm singing, I'm recording, I'm doing my vocals in whatever way, shape, or form, with whatever way, whatever people I could at any time. And going into the more modern time and this community and the surgence of people having more time over COVID and all of this confluence of circumstance, I'm thrilled. What a renaissance! What a revitalization, a new lease on music, a new lease on life. And I'm proud and happy to say that I think I've made some of the best music of my entire life in the last few years. And I'll go farther to say that for in the future, I have every confidence that I'm just hitting the tip of the iceberg, because this very same community has afforded me a seat at the table, if you will, to be able to work with just the most amazing people of my dreams, people that I love their music, and that every person brings something unique and wonderful to the table. That's again, to be in a band, and that's something that means a lot to me.
Yeah, it's amazing. I never thought we'd see the day where I wasn't standing in a sweaty, stinky rehearsal room with a bad PA that I was paying way too much for. Instead, doing this from my bedroom with people from all around the world. And I totally agree with what you said. The other thing is the friends. Currently, I have some of the best friends I've made from this community that I chat with every day. And in a time where COVID was going down and people seemed to be in fear of being torn apart and not being able to hold each other, some of us have been quite lucky through music, because we've made some of the most amazing friendships. I feel guilty about that too sometimes, with all the people whose lives were lost through it. But at the same time, wow, I have such amazing friends. Clearly, you've made some amazing friends through these communities as well.
The best, the very best, and dealing with the best musicians I've ever had the honor of playing with. And when we get to the new band, the only thing that really disturbs me is I've never been in a band before where I didn't have the best hair.
It's the important thing.
I'm devastated. Yeah, I mean, come on.
You need a hairdryer, man, in front of you.
Like the big, I want like the 50s kind of.
Yeah, we all need a hairdryer to make ourselves look sexy. So I want to talk about the reveal as well, because it was a big part, and that's going to lead me into like your video clips and stuff like that. I think the reveal has been, I thought it was really intriguing, because I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more and more. Who was this character? Every time I saw you on video, you were a different kind of cartoon character. And I found it really good marketing. very clever marketing. Are you scared that this may turn into like what happened to Kiss when they did the Unmasked album?
Oh, if only I could just take a little percentage of their money, and we could just spread it amongst the community. We could all get new gear, and it would be lovely. No, I mean, come on. Everything only has a limited shelf life. The fact that anybody cares at all. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening to the stuff. Thank you for enjoying some of it. Thank you for wondering, ooh, it's a cartoon. Oh, it's clay. Thank you for that. It's fun. I'm sorry it's so underwhelming, but here it is. This was the time. That's why I wanted to use it to say the great things that are going on, and to pump up and rise all my friends and all the collaborations that I've done in this community. It's one of the only non-toxic music communities that I've encountered.
Yeah, that's true. I want to also thank. I just got a super chat come through. Let me thank you for that. Who was that? Music Therapy. Thank you so very much for the kind super chat. You rock. Thank you, Laz. So how did you come across this, this guy, what's he called? Jeff, this Metal Head Hippie guy. What was your journey to find this interesting man who plays all of our music on YouTube?
Oh, it would go back to the Dog Paw. It's not a mystery, and he was the OG of all OGs to the Metal Head Hippie Show. And when I saw what was going on, and I had some songs and some videos already in the can, and I moved to contacted Jeff and sent him basically just a movie file, and he responded to me and said, what do you want me to do with this? He said, you have to upload this to YouTube. That's how much of a novice I was to any of this. No social media, no anything. And I uploaded it and shared it and started enjoying the community. But it would definitely be through Dog Paw.
Do you remember the first video that you sent through to Jeff on the show?
Sure. It's a song I have called Do It. As in, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to do it.
It's interesting that, because I had it queued up next. It's almost like I knew you were going to say that. So you've been, how long have you been following Jeff's channel? Because I've only been following, I think, I don't even know. It feels like a long time. It feels like ages, because he does so many shows and he's on for so long that I feel like I've known Hippie for forever. How long have you been a part of the community for?
I feel that way about all of the friends, about all of the hippie friends. But I was not the latest of comers, but I was not one of the OGs. I came in at the very end in December of 2020, that horror of a year that we all had of 2020, and it's only been since then.
It was a horror year. It's funny this, because for so many people face so much horror, and I feel like I released some of the best music of my entire life. And my life actually got so much better during that time. And so there are so many other people whose lives weren't going so good that actually did get better. Where so many people whose lives were together and really going places just got shot to pieces. Do you feel like there was, during this time, that there may have been some kind of, I don't know, it feels like there was a rebalance of, I don't know, distribution of underdogs not being so much an underdog, or there was a time to breathe, or I say the Great Reset. I don't want to use that term because it gets conspiratorial. Was it a time for you where you were actually able to find your voice?
For me personally, it didn't really affect me in the same way. It didn't change my lifestyle one bit. But in general, for people, I think that any time that they get a bit of time, anytime that they get to come up for air, have a chance to create, that they will. People just have to have a chance. And I think that we've empowered a lot of people to come out and do stuff and to try stuff at whatever level and know that you'll be supported. And that's the kind of fruitful environment that is necessary for people to rise. And, music's just the thing to do it.
I'm going to play a song. I'm going to play Do It very soon. But I want to find out, what's the process for you to actually start writing music? Do you have a set process? Does it change all the time? Can you run through some of your process?
Well, it's changed a lot depending. It varies is the thing. But in general, I have a vocal process. And I think I'm a little different than a lot of people in the way that I'll write my vocals. I know a lot of talented musicians and songwriters that could take the same song and write it 5 different ways, have a whole bunch of different options of the ways that they could do it, each one valid, each one a wonderful musical idea. For me, I always feel like the melody line is already in the song when I hear the music. And it's more for me to reveal it and to find it. That's something that's already there rather than create anything. And then after that, it's just a turn of phrase, words that actually come out of your mouth the right way, something that fits the spot. And then maybe on top of that, if you're lucky, a good theme that might actually touch somebody.
Do you tend to take these ideas and, do you have a format of jotting down ideas and going back to them? Do you have a collection of things that you go back to and maybe, hey, I have this thing that can be used again? Is that part of your creative format?
I'm sure I have some stockpile of lyrical ideas and ideas that haven't gotten used. But they generally stay in the dead letter file because I'm more inspired by the piece of music that's in front of me. It's a very immediate experiential thing. It's a very being in the moment and being aware kind of thing, more than like, oh, let me dip back into my repertoire of unused rubbish. I can use it to line the bottom of the bird cage and...
There's been times when I'm so desperate, I go into that dirty bin and pull out that stuff and
wipe it off.
Yeah, give it a good wash. It never turns out good, unfortunately. Man, I had an experience yesterday. I've been working on a song on my channel called Me and My Brain, and I opened the project yesterday, and the whole project was corrupted. And I've spent 4 weeks working on it on the channel. Live, I've done a bunch of shows on it, and yesterday I had to start it all over again. I can't even explain how painful that was.
We all understand that.
Yeah.
Between that and remembering to record all the time, every time. How many times has everybody had that first take to test everything out and you didn't push record? You should have just been recording.
Yeah, and all those takes that you do take over time, and then you go back and listen to that first take and end up using that because it was probably the best one, and you waste all these hours doing takes. I want to talk about your video editing because it's a popular thing. I think it's really incredible. So, you've got all this claymation, you've got drawing, animation, you've got so many things going on in your video clips. They're always different. I just love the variety of your video clips. What is the process? Do you work with people? Ideas that you come up with? Is some of it you? How do you create these fantastic videos?
Thank you so much. I would say my role is very modest. I'm more of a producer and an idea person than the technician. I have the great fortune of working with video experts all over the world in different disciplines and at different levels in their development. And I've been able to work with them and get my ideas translated into something that I wanted. And I'm very involved in each stage of it, but I'm not the technician in a lot of it. But I'm very fortunate, and I've been able to scour really diverse resources in this, and it's literally been all over the world. So it's been a very fun, it's a fun process.
I'm going to play this song now so people can see more of it. I want to get all these songs in today.
Thank you.
This is Do It, and I'm just going to read the description out here. It says, I don't want to talk about it except for the intro.
The only story was that's the only one of the only songs on my channel that I uploaded more than once, and I made. I'm hoping I gave you the correct one with the Jack Flash intro.
That is right.
I made the one that was a little updated. So that was my little joke in the description to say play this one instead of the previous incarnation.
Nice. Well, let's play this. You guys can kick back and enjoy because, again, another amazing video clip, another amazing song. And we'll be back after this. You ready, guys?
Yeah. Do it.
Let's do it now. Boom.
Time to lay your burden down. Well, I heard the talk around so far. It does nothing for me. 50 million reasons why. This is the best things. This is the best things to be. I don't wanna talk about it. I just wanna do it. I don't wanna talk about it. I just wanna do it. Talk is cheap and words are just words, so there is nothing to say. But we can still express ourselves, like for the first time, like for the first time today. Talk about it. I just want to do it. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to do it. That might work out for you, but life is short and I don't want to spend mine forever talking it through. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to do it. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to do it. Talk about it. I don't wanna hear about it. I don't wanna think about it. Hey, I just wanna do it.
man. Holy shit, that was just fucking incredible.
Boom.
What an
Thank-
incredible track, man. Your production and of the music and video is just sick. Like when I see clips like that, I feel absolutely so inspired and so pushed to better myself. Like it just really, really incredible stuff. Like you really do push the bar, and I'm sure you inspire a lot of people here with your stuff to get better and better. I know you do me, so 100%. What gear do
Thank
you
you.
use? What gear do you use to make music? I'm super interested in this. What recording door? What mics? What do you use? Because man, the quality of your music is so solid.
Thank you so. Let me just say thank you for your kind words. I mean, it means a lot, and as much as I like compliments from anybody, when it's a musician and someone you respect, the compliment is much higher. So
You are welcome.
Thank you. My vocal chain is very, very simple. I have almost nothing going on. I sing into a very good condenser microphone. It goes into a tube preamp, a singular tube preamp. Tube gets nice and hot. It goes into a relatively straightforward interface, and then right into Logic 10.
Nice. So you're an Apple user, is that right?
For that part of the production, I use. I know whoever would have thought. You know nothing about that
No.
stuff for language. I run everything off a Mac Mini. It's more than enough for what I do.
Oh, they're great machines. They're absolutely great machines. And don't get me wrong, I'm definitely not a snob between Apple or, PC or whatever. I own
have
both.
PCs too.
I
Yeah,
own
have
both,
PCs
man.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't do this show without my high-end PC. I've got a Mac Mini, an M1 Mac Mini. I'm sure it can do the job, but I know my PC is just killer. It's the best. So you're using, oh man, it blows my mind the quality that your stuff comes out like. So how do you choose the people that you work with as well? Like not only with video production, but with music from within this community, from outside. Do you do it case by case per song, like who you feel is going to work best for the ideas that you have, or is it other people coming up with an idea with you? And for collaborations,
No.
I find collaborations interesting. How do you organize collaborations with people?
I don't think that they're organized at all.
Disorganized.
I think that I'm fortunate enough to have interacted with the people, and when I say that the music's in the people, I mean that. And you start to become aware of certain people and their energy and what they're doing, and then if you can sort of hear their music and what they're doing and where they're coming from, and then there's an interest, and then trying to do something together to see if something can be created. I do sort of what I do. Anyway, I will write the melody lines, write the lyrics, track the vocals, do the vocal editing, and that's about it. But the music, is the other half of the coin. You have to have the full equation.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of community, somebody, Andy Dion, has kindly sent a super chat and written in this super chat, Jack is an amazing musician, but even more, he is a good friend, an awesome part of our community. Rock on, Jack.
Oh, thank you, Andy. Andy's my brother from another mother. We have great fortune, and I think we'll close the show, if I'm not mistaken, with the band I have with him. We only have one song at this point, Giant Killers. But spoilers, we have another Giant Killers, a follow-up coming. And I wanted to take this time, if you're mentioning Andy, to mention his new band, a live band. So we're all excited about that. Set 22, and check that out, and go give him a sub as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about if you want, do you want to talk about this new project? Do you want to? Hang on, we'll hold off a little bit more on it because I still am more interested. I want to find out more about.
I want, with the new project, I want to leave them in anticipation.
So I tried to get reverb on your vocal there to make it. Try it again.
I want to lead them into anticipation.
We got there in the end. A rocker. So let's skip back a bit because I'm just going through your bio, which you kindly sent to me, which was a really cool bio. And if you want to read it, I did do a slightly trimmed down version in the description. Go and read the bio that I've put up in the description. It's really, really cool. So you played in previous bands, the Baby Dinosaurs, and I want to touch on this one, the last straw. And it says here where you were affectionately known as Jack Straw.
Yeah, I've had different aliases through the years. I wasn't always a Jack Flash. There were many years I was a Jack Straw, Jack of all trades, if you will. Jacks and people named Jack. Every movie in the whole world will have someone named Jack, but there's very few of us in the real world, and we're frankly a class who's been discriminated on the most, more than anybody, more than you would even think. We get no residuals for any of the stuff. What do you do when your car is messed up? You jack it up. You go to plug in any of your fancy equipment, any of your stuff, anything that you have. What do? You put it into a wall jack. I got nothing. We get no residuals whatsoever. No, nothing for Jack. Jack in the Box, Little Jack Horner, Jack and Jill. I get nothing. That's why we're the giant killers, because it's Jack and the Beanstalk killed the giant, and you know how it is.
Are you? I don't know how it is. I'm not a Jack.
You don't know how it is?
Now I know, though. Now I'm going to start. I feel like I need to start a GoFundMe for all the Jacks in the world.
I know.
To get
you have this really sad music playing, and I'll come in and we're really having a hard time. It's very, very difficult. If you could please, a little more.
Please support Jacks around the world. Jacks are doing it desperately. They're taking the low blows just for you.
It was the Union Jack. What did we do all around the world? We're in Australia, invaded 9 out of 10 countries. Jack, right there.
This is going to be like 11/11. I'm going to leave this interview, and everywhere I look, I'm going to see Jack everywhere. I can feel it. It's going to be on TV. It's going to be on the radio. It's everywhere I turn, there's going to be Jack. That's awesome. All right. I think we've got out of music here. We've got 2 more things to play. Do you have any particular, marketing? I feel like get yourself
placement. What?
Yeah. I feel like I need to go put a wig on and be Ron for a moment.
What wig?
Yeah.
What wig?
Wigs have become a thing, man. You know, when I first started this show, I used to wear a wig because my hair was so stuffed. And I think if you go back through my old videos, I'm wearing a wig in heaps of shows. Before it was cool, before Ron Ward came along. And then I totally ruined my hair by getting dreadlocks. And now I wish I had decent hair instead of this now. But it is what it is, hey?
It's lovely.
Oh, it's not lovely to sleep on, I'll tell you. It feels like laying on carpet, but that's how it is. So do you have any particular apps, outs, or plugins that you use within your DAW, which we've discovered is Logic? Are there any particular things that you use that make your life easier for recording vocals or mixing or anything like that?
No, I mean, I don't use presets of any kind. All of the treatments are custom to the individual track, and I try to pay attention to things in vocal production that other people may not notice, but you may notice if you like it or if you don't. Creative use of delays, trying to use delays more as an instrument than just an effect. Creative use of, like, I'm not much of a reverb kind of guy. Different timing throw delays, reverse swells, it's nothing that's groundbreaking, but I think the tasteful use of good vocal editing will really make something sound a lot better. And I'll also echo something you said a little earlier. I think it's absolutely essential that you have to go the extra step after you have a mix that you like, and not only test it in your other in your car and all the places, but you do need to master stuff. That is one of the secret sauce of secret sauces for anybody who knows anything. And your music will sound, it's that missing ingredient that people often just don't get.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons on my Patreon, and I can flick the button, will it work? On my Patreon every week, and, you know, if people want to join my Patreon, it's only from $1 a month, you know. I do offer a mastering thing, and you can, once a week, every Saturday evening, I think, or afternoon, not same time as my usual show, my patrons get to come on and we sit there, people send in their songs, and we master it right in front of people so they see the difference, hear the difference, understand how important it is to add that final touch to it. Because, you know, people are scared of it. You know, there's from my time doing this, there's a lot of people who fear mastering. Oh, how do you do it? I don't, am I doing it right? Do you have any advice to people, because this comes up a lot on my channel, Pete Johns, for recording vocals, for people who are struggling with recording vocals, just some simple tips to help them get through the fear of recording vocals, because it's a thing. It's a thing for, I'm guessing, you and me too. Red light fever and all that kind of thing. Do you have any tips that may help some people here in this interview?
Well, you know, I wouldn't presume to, you know, tell anybody how to do their recording, and you know, who am I to say? But I have done it a little bit, and I've really enjoyed it. And over the years, I've honed sort of a way that I like to do things. And I used to do vocal coaching, and so I would talk to people about it. The first thing you had mentioned is like a mindset thing. Singing has to be very deliberate. Singing has to be very present. It has to be, I'm here right now. It's very in the moment kind of a thing. So often people have to get over just an initial shyness of being able to belt it out. And just to be able to sing at full volume, sound good, sound bad, sound whatever. I mean, don't hurt yourself, but to really be in a situation where you can just let it go and not be concerned. So many people, when they're going to do that, and have a hesitation that won't allow them to sing at their very best. That's definitely the first thing I'd mention.
Yeah, finding that outside voice. You can definitely hear when somebody's singing with that inside voice that they're not releasing it. You know, they're afraid to release it. It's a hard thing to overcome,
Yes.
especially when a lot of us now live in households with families, and we may have a room that we're segregated to record in. You know,
If you're lucky.
Yeah. I know many people who frequent these channels who record their vocals in their car. You know,
That's wild.
Yeah, you got to find.
Got to do what you got to do.
You got to.
But even a loud head voice, people just can't. You can't hesitate when it comes to singing. You have to be very deliberate and get used to doing that and being comfortable doing that. Take the times that you're able to do it. If your wife goes to the market and you happen to be home and you have 2 hours, have your stuff ready so you can turn it on and go for it and belt it out at a time that will work. And the more hours you do that, I think that gets over a lot of problems.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts on, you know, maybe some advice you can give to people about overthinking things? I mean, because that comes into it as well. You can really overthink things to the point that you get bogged down and you give up.
Thinking is for before you sing. Thinking is when you're practicing. Thinking is so overrated. Thinking is all the things, and let me tell you, there's a lot to think about in singing. There's phrasing and diction, the way that the words are coming out of your mouth, and overpronunciation and underpronunciation. There's resisting plosives and plosives and there's microphone technique and proximity effect. There's breathing at the more fundamental level. There's using your breath out in a slow way. There's so many things to think about, but when it comes time to sing, you don't think about any of that. You listen to the song. Listening is the most important. Listening and take a biggest breath you can and go for it.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Balls to the wall. Go for it. Give it your all. It's like, I look at it like it's this is my last performance of singing this particular line. And, just absolutely yell it like the world is ending. Everything's collapsing around me, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, And a lot of the times, the things that you think are wrong and sound crap aren't. They aren't. And when people hear it, as a singer myself, I've got songs out that are out there released, and I always hear it and go, oh God, I hate that line I sung. But I don't think it's that anybody's ever messaged me and gone, that line in that song, it sucks. That's
Jade,
overthinking.
Jade, I was listening to your stuff, and
here it comes.
There's this one line, and I got to tell you.
You got me.
I've been meaning to say, but I didn't want to, but since you brought it up.
I expose myself all the time for that shit. Let's play Ain't No Stranger, and then we'll come back and talk about your latest endeavor, and we'll go out with your final song. And
this one is puppets. This guy does custom-made puppets, and he's in South America, and he's a really trippy guy. And I was honored to have him come and play on this very bizarre kind of sounding song. So root for our character, root for our hero in this song. I'm never sure if he's going to get out okay, so pay attention.
This is great. I love this. This is Ain't No Stranger, and we'll be back shortly to wrap up and talk. And we got a poll for you guys as well. So we'll see you all shortly. Boom.
Time to reach for separation, as clear as all the writing on the wall. Hey, well, I've been in some city, and I ain't no stranger. Gonna bring it around, round, 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 round.
Boom.
It's just become part of my vernacular now. You can't help it, you know.
It's great.
What a fantastic song. And everybody in the chat is just going bananas again, like they have for every song today, for the video, for the quality of the music, for the great vocals. So again, you know.
I wanted to say I haven't been looking at the chat. I've been trying to just have a conversation with you, but I did think it prudent to try to interact with the chat a little bit. And I want to ask all my friends out there, in all seriousness, like, I do like to sing some covers from time to time. And it's very interesting when I get a request for a particular cover, because it's meant that somebody thought enough of it to say, oh, Jack's voice would sound good singing this. The best example was Hippie from Metal Head Hippie Show asked to do Sweet's Fox on the Run, and asked Lori's Mishmash and her band 80 Proof, and we did it, and I was amazed how close it was to my voice. So I wanted to just take 1 second so I can look at the chat later. Is there any kind of song you guys would hear my voice in? Is there a particular one that would sound the most like me, in your opinion? For all my friends out there, I thought it would be interesting to know what you guys' thoughts were.
And I've just put a poll up, which we talked about earlier. What style of cover should be? Is this what we're doing the poll for right now? Or is
No,
this,
not a cover. This would be
this
more
is just
for
for
an
your song.
original.
So
Yeah,
this is a
just
poll.
for the next material.
So I've put up a poll now. What style of song should be the next? We have ballad, hard rock, or blues. So we'll give you guys to the end of the show to state your opinion. Now is your interactive moment of zen. Let's talk
Lori
about...
said it should say yacht rock should be another option on there, but I nixed that idea.
Let's talk about your latest incarnation. What do you want to tell us about what you're doing with this latest project?
Well, it's sort of the sum of the whole experience. It's the fruition of all of these great connections. First thing, and I had mentioned before, is I do have a new Giant Killer song to come out with Andy Dion that you guys can be on the lookout for. Probably take a little bit. Don't have the video yet, which I really like and honor. But I had the great opportunity to do. It was a cover of all things that was international with Hugh Caldwell in Scotland and Mark Tanner in Bayou there in Australia, and Tim Robbins, Texas, Jack Daw in Texas, and Marshall Turner here closer to me in Oregon. And we did this, some of you might have seen it, and we went under the moniker of Flock of Cats. And it was a very fun thing to work with these people, and I listened to their catalog and enjoyed them so much, and it was such a pleasure. And I have something else I'm writing with Hugh Caldwell in particular, but the time differences are very challenging, and we're getting that out. And he has a very great sense to do this, and so I'm looking forward to that project, the new one with Hugh. But then the remainder of the Flock of Cats, Mark Tanner, Marshall Turner, and Texas Jack Daw. We've hit it off very well musically and as friends, and have been able to collaborate on some material. We already have quite a bit of it in the can, and it's the most unique project that I've ever had the fortune to do, because each person has their own channel. Each person is a songwriter in their own right. Each person can sing fantastically. Each person can play music. Each person can record. They are all, I'm the only one with kind of like the single talent. I do one thing. They all do everything. And to have a seat at the table with them is great. And I wanted to announce that as the band. It might be a little bit more time. We wanted to see if maybe having a good amount of material and releasing it as an EP or something to that notion. But that band is now going to be called the Seldom Scene.
Nice.
We're the Seldom Scene.
Nice. That's really exciting, man. So you're going to release some music. That's really cool, because that's the one thing that's missing, I think. You know, it's great to have all these YouTube videos and all this stuff. I love it when people from the community release music, because then I can add it to my Apple Music and just listen to it anytime and not have to use YouTube all the time. And that's super exciting.
I will go one step further and send out a special acknowledgement to Texas Jackdaw. Just wanted to say in front of everybody that the true pleasure of working with a peer, working with someone I respect so much, working with such a talented person, has opened everything up creatively, and any kind of Jackdaw Flash thing that you can see coming up. We have other things. He graciously allowed me to sing on one of his songs recently. You'll see it on my channel, called Straight Into the Sun. And working with him has been such a pleasure, and I look forward to a long and fruitful songwriting team with him.
Yeah, I've had Jack on the show, Texas Jackdaw team.
I'm Jack. Yeah.
Sorry, Jack. We've got Jackdaws, we've got Jack Flashes. See, now this is what I told you was going to happen. Jacks are everywhere now.
See?
Yeah, exactly. We've had Tim on the show, had Marshall on the show. I mean, you're all such incredible artists. To see you all come together and you know, there's so many of you that it's super cool. Super
Well, you
cool.
knew what was going on because you had every single one of them on your show. Each one of them has been interviewed. I'm the last guy in.
Yeah. I've completed the circle now. I have
The set.
I have a full flush right now. So, where'd my mic go? There, my mic's back. It disappeared for a second. That's a wireless mic for you. No, very exciting stuff. So everyone, keep your eyes peeled. That's really awesome news. Thanks for breaking that here on the show. We are pretty much at the end. We've got to get out of here because it's been 2 hours, man. It goes so fast. These interviews, I always find.
I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh and sing a song. Seems we just get started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long.
I'm going to hit you with the last question that I hit everybody with. It's a really hard one. If somebody is considering becoming creative, when would you suggest for them to start?
When?
Yeah.
Look at me, people. Trust me on this. I've been thinking a lot about this. I knew this question was going to be asked. Give it up. Don't do it. No one wants to hear your song. No one likes your stuff. Forget it. What is he talking about? When are you going to do it? Do it never. Do it never. Forget about it. It's over. It's over. And I have to tell you that because if you give a crap about what anybody else thinks, then you're doing the wrong thing. Have that music be a joy. Have your creation, whatever it is, be a joy. Have it be just a part of you. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody. Listen to your heart. Listen to whatever turns you on creatively, and just do it.
100%. Do it for you. Do the things that make you happy. Really, you know, you learn that. And I'm sure as a seasoned musician yourself, you've probably gone through the same thing as many of us have who've been doing it for a long time. In the beginning, you care every single thing what people think. And it just adds stress and unneeded anxiety and unneeded pressure on your shoulders, where music is just about happiness, yeah? Couldn't have said it any better, man. You rock so much. I'm going to end the poll now. I knew this was going to be the answer. I didn't even need to do the poll. We have a result for the poll of blues 20%, ballad 29%, hard rock 50%. I knew that was going to happen. So awesome stuff.
We have confirmation.
We have a result. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, all those in between as well. Can't forget the NBs if there's any out there. Thank you so much for being here today, and again supporting the channel. Thank you for the kind super chats that came through. But I want to thank also you, Jack Flash, for taking the time to come on here and reveal some of who you are. There's so much more. Barely have scratched the surface, and choosing my show to come on here and talk candidly and just. Yeah, I think it's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you also to your handler who opened the show. Oh, sorry. I'll just cut you out of the picture here. Thank you to the handler for coming on and laying the ground rules. Anyway, welcome back, Jack. Thank you so much.
Do it again.
Hang on. I have
Jack. Do it again.
I have to do this for you as well one time. Ready? Jack Flash! I know you wanted some Jack Flash in the voice of death metal. Exactly what wig, Lou Reality. We are going to go out today with the Giant Killers, and this is Never Get Down. Do you want to give us a little bit of a spiel about this before we play it?
No, this is the project with Andy Dion. We had also just done something with the Hippies House Band, which he's a prominent and essential member, and I was honored to do something with him. And it's a multi-layered song. We really worked hard on this one. A lot of it in there, and I hope you guys like it. There's also some cool claymation, and just remember, never get down.
Absolutely. Guys, straight after this interview, if you hold on to the end, the show will shoot you over, straight over to Pete Johns with a lovely dump. The show will dump you over there straight after it's finished. Please stay on the line with me, Jack, until the show's over so we can have a quick catch up. And thank you once again, folks. This is...
Wait.
Yeah.
A hammer and a tomato were running, and the tomato kept falling behind, and so the hammer came back and said, "Catch up."
Sam, you only got one joke in. I thought you had more than that. But
That was it.
that was it.
That's it.
That's it,
Thank
folks.
you, everybody.
That's all you get.
Thank
See you later,
you.
guys. This is the Giant Killers. Never Get Down. We'll see you again soon. Yeah, rock and roll. Do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. And we all rise together. Boom.
Have to tell her in the morning light, let it shine when she comes to me. Pictures fade without any warning, crumble into the sea. And I hear it always calling back to me. And you know that I feel it, trying to set me free. Oh, baby.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. We'll see you on the weekend for the opening hour. And I just want to thank one more time our wonderful sponsors, DistroKid. You guys make my life so much easier and so many artists. Remember, click the link in the description to get 7% off your first year with DistroKid. We'll see you later.